And we are back. Fantasy Football Dad is here. We are doing some DraftKings drafts today. Gonna change it up a bit. We've been on Underdog for a few drafts, and it's time to kind of get some DraftKings exposure and trying to get through all these tournaments. Some good quality ones here on DraftKings as well. So just want to kind of go through the whole process of a PPR scoring format, while Underdog is 0.5 PPR. This one is a full 1 point PPR fantasy football, I guess, best ball tournament. So we want to make sure that we kind of cover all the tracks as your fantasy football dad wants to do, educate his children, and make sure that we are trying to do every type of best ball draft, right? That's what we do. I'm a degenerate. I got to do all of them. Okay. A little bit of different strategy, I guess, when it comes to PPR compared to Underdog is half PPR. Obviously, the pass catching, the number of receptions matters quite a bit. Instead of touchdowns, where it's 0.5, half PPR is a little bit more focuses on the touchdowns. Touchdowns are good when it comes to DraftKings as well, but obviously the number of receptions, the number of times, you got that added bonus of the 300 yards, over 100 yards rushing, 100 yards receiving. All those things are bonuses that we got to make sure that we want to include when we have the best ball, when we're looking at DraftKings for best ball drafting. So we'll just kind of get into it right away here. And what we're going to do is kind of a little bit of a warm up. How about a little bit of a stretch, I like to call it. And they have this $1 best ball 2.5 million King of the Desert qualifier. Obviously only one person is going to qualify from this, and I think how it works is they qualify into a large pool, and then from there, I think the top 20, I think that's how it works, go into a Super Bowl DFS contest, I think, wherever it is, usually in Arizona, but it's a single lineup, showdown for Super Bowl for the final. So it is a long process. There is a lot of hurdles you'll have to kind of jump over to kind of get to the final. But the only reason I do this is not because I call this the warm up. And now the reason I urge everyone that's kind of joining Breast Ball to do these tournaments is that it's so unpredictable that it makes you think on the fly, right? It makes you kind of adapt to your quarterback getting sniped, with somebody picking, you have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and someone, drafts Joe Burrow naked. So it kind of throws you off because you were planning on getting Joe Burrow. You think you have rational drafters in this room, but you don't, right? You're going to have that odd person that doesn't know what the hell they're doing. They're just going to be drafting 4 quarterbacks in the first 10 rounds. So it really makes you adapt, especially in the middle rounds and the later rounds, as to how to kind of build those stacks. What do you do if you're planning to get Burrow, right? Do you kind of pivot? And it kind of shows you how to kind of react, right? And pivot to maybe a Trevor Lawrence, right? And see what you can build from there, or a Drake May, or JJ McCarthy. So I think it's a good practice. I feel like it is a good warm up. Maybe before you get into your big dollar tournaments, get into a couple of these, right? Practice. Really, you're spending $1. It's still fun to draft, right? I just think the whole concept of drafting is just so much fun. Figuring out who you're going to get, players dropping and getting some values on ADP. So it's fun to do. Like, drafting is always fun, but when you only have to spend $1, that's a lot way better, right? So if you only have to, I would recommend just doing this as practice, like I said, makes you pivot, makes you adapt, having to kind of figure out, okay, where are some pockets in the draft I can kind of go back and get some stacks, right? Like there are like some good quarterbacks later on in the draft, right? Obviously you have, for example, a quarterback like Tua, whose top 2 wide receivers go in the first 4 to 5 rounds, right? With Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. But then what can you build if you have to pick a Tua, right? Can you go after, a Jalen Wright to kind of get a micro stack? And do you take a chance on Darren Waller, right? Who might retire again? You never know with that guy. The rapper turned back. Well, the football player turned rapper, turned back into football player. Is apparently good to go, right? Like he's going to start practicing this week, I believe, and he's good to go. Do you pick up a Malik Washington as a 3rd wide receiver? So things like that, right? Just kind of help you adapt and pivot, like I've kind of mentioned in the past. So let's get started, right? Let's see what happens. Like I said, it's fun to kind of just get in there and just see what happens. So it looks like we're waiting, but like the good thing also about these drafts, they fill up fast. So if you have something, you want to kind of get in quick, the good thing is like these quick drafts, they fill up pretty quick and you can kind of get in there right away and not have to wait too long. So if you look at the initial rankings, I haven't done mine, which I probably should. I've been pretty good at drafting. I don't really let anything go to auto draft, but it doesn't really differ from half PPR in a lot of ways. The first round is going to be the first round. Like you have, like, for example, a running back like Derrick Henry, right? Different scoring, half PPR versus PPR, and he's valued differently, right? He's still going to put up major numbers in PPR, but you don't have that pass catching as much as you would, that you kind of maybe like a Devon Achane presents, right? So there's a difference in there, because Achane's going to get rushing yards, but he's also going to get those receptions, right? Which are a point each, right? So it doesn't matter how many yards they go for. Automatically 1 reception, if he catches 4 or 5, he's automatically getting 5 extra points, right? Compared to Derrick Henry, who might catch 1 pass, maybe 2 at the most. But Achane he's going to get upwards to like 7-8 catches, right, with over 100 yards. So there's a lot of like those nuances there when you want to look at. So like pass catching running backs obviously are at a premium, and ones you want to kind of focus on. So like I said, pretty quick, we were at 2 out of 12 about a couple of minutes ago, and now we're already at 12. So starting off here, we're going to be the 10th pick, sorry. And right now the ADP around 10 is Nico Collins, Puka, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Derrick Henry top off the first round. So Puka is falling. Obviously, there's the concern about Matthew Stafford. That back concern is pretty real. If he does not play, that is a big hit to the offense and to Puka and Devontae Adams. So I think he's going to be fine. I think they're just managing his reps. Getting an epidural, right? It's funny. That's probably the only thing my wife would understand if I was to tell her anything that's happening in the off season or during training camp right now, is that Matthew Stafford got an epidural, and then she can relate, right? She's going to be able to say that, hey, I know what that means, right? So pretty cool there. But exactly, like, there's a concern is with the quarterback, right? If Stafford is not 100%, or if he plays the first couple of games and then can't go for 5-6 weeks, that hurts Puka, and it's kind of starting to show, right? With the draft, I've seen him falling into the second round now in some drafts. So obviously there's a bit obviously right away, NFL season, welcome to the NFL season, the risk and reward of Puka, right? If you can get Puka in the second round, like and in the end Stafford's fine, like what a good pick, right? In the sense of like your team right away, you have like a top 5 wide receiver in the second round, right? So those are the kind of things that are obviously the fun things about fantasy football. The risks that come with the drafting, obviously when there's there's could be high rewards, or you could be looking back at it and see that your second round pick Puka didn't make it. Now, does that mean if Stafford goes down, is your team toast? No, right? Like, Puka's just one player out of 7 or 8 wide receivers that you're going to have. So unfortunately, you won't get that same type of level of production maybe as, you know, a wide receiver going next to him with Amon-Ra if Goff is all good, and so or Nico Collins. So you do maybe lose a little bit of value there in that round, but you know, you can make it up if your third or fourth wide receiver have great seasons. So I don't think you need to be scared. Like, I don't think you go off of Puka, but if he's there, take him because you're always betting on the talent. But yeah, that's the risk, obviously, when it comes to Matthew Stafford. So a big surprise. I see, like I told you right here, Brian Thomas going number 3. See, these are the kind of things that are fun to see, right? This guy just wants to take Brian Thomas at number 3. So it's always fun to see who's going to fall to you and what you can do in this draft. So right now I'm looking at either McCaffrey, there's Neighbors, but I like Amon-Ra quite a bit because he is a slot receiver in that Detroit Lions offense. That's obviously still going to get heavy targeted. I don't know what it is. Everyone kind of shies away from Amon-Ra, thinking this might be the year where he falls off a cliff. I don't know why. I love Amon-Ra, so I'm gonna stick with Amon-Ra here. I like Neighbors, but I don't know. I feel like Neighbors, the thing with him is that he always seems dinged up, right? And I think that's the risk with him. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the number of hits he takes, being the wide receiver, and I don't know if he can handle them yet. Yeah. So coming around here, we got Achan, Jan-T. So I think I'm gonna take Achan here. So for that reason we talked about earlier, Achan, if you look at his stats from last year, you gotta look at that, like 7 targets, 7 receptions for 35, like right away that's 10.5 points right away, and he didn't do much in the rushing game. So even though the floor is 14.6, like add a touchdown in the rest, you almost got 20 points right there. 6 receptions, 8 receptions, and I think this is when Tua might have been out, but 8 receptions, 6 receptions, 7 receptions the first couple of weeks, 7 each. Like, that's a great floor, right? Like, that's just having those points guaranteed, because he's going to catch the ball that much. And now with Jonnu not in Miami anymore, like, that's going to continue, and maybe even bit, like, I don't know if you can go any more than like 8 receptions. 10 receptions would be crazy, but look at that, just 7 receptions, and then a receiving touchdown pushes them up to 29.5, 23 points. So and then Tua went down. So obviously if Tua's healthy, you're good. But if Tua goes down, then Achan's not gonna, like, I think any starting quarterback, right? Like, if any starting quarterback goes down, the team as a whole, its wide receivers and running backs are not gonna do that well. So and obviously with a player like Achan who's reliant on targets, it'd be a bigger blow. But like I said, just that floor with all those receptions that he can possibly get is too good to pass up. So let's see how this draft is going. We got Derrick Henry, Jan-T, and then I picked Achan. Then we have Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, Drake London, Brock Bowers, AJ Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs. So not the second round's been kind of no major surprises here, I guess. Amarian Hampton kind of goes in the second round. Trey McBride in the end of second there, so not bad. Chase has got the Chase drafters got Chase, McBride, and Higgins. Pretty good start right there. Can't not gonna lie. And so you got a couple of double RB drafters right here, right? So you got McCaffrey, Chase Brown drafter. You got Barkley and Taylor, and Bijan and Omarion Hampton. And you can't really fault them. Like, I think they're good picks, right? So this guy goes with 3 running backs, right, to start off with, Kyron Williams as his, and then this guy goes with 3 running backs and then 3 wide receivers. So, like I said, like, you get the funny builds, but 3 wide receivers to start off with is nothing, not uncommon, but 3 running backs, maybe, could be. Let's see what he does his next one though. So coming up here pretty quick, in a couple of 4 picks here. see what this drafter does with the auto draft if he takes Josh Allen. Yeah, okay. So we got Garrett Wilson, JSN, Marvin Harrison Jr., Mike Evans, and Kittle. So I like Garrett Wilson here, but he obviously goes. Kind of looking at where I'm going in the draft here, 34th and 39. So what can I potentially get? Okay. Yeah, let's take Marvin Harrison here. Little bit of concern with Marvin Harrison. Obviously, there was a lot of hoopla last year. He was going at the end of the first round, I think like 11th, 12th regularly in best ball drafts. He was the next big thing, going to be that next great wide receiver. And while he did have a good year, it wasn't what we expected of a first round or early second round pick. So here's the hope that he comes back, that the offense is a little bit better. And Kyler's a bit better. The unfortunate part is, I don't know. It's a lot of things I've been reading. Is that maybe it's Kyler that's holding him back by not making enough throws in the middle of the field. But whatever it is, we're just hoping that Marvin Harrison takes that second year. Maybe a little bit of the pressure's off, not being the first round pick and anymore and then that whole rookie. You're going to be the next big thing. Maybe that little that's kind of died down a bit, and that'll help him mentally. So. Yeah, just hoping that he's able to kind of pop back up. So let's look here. There are what's available here. You know what? I'm going to try to obviously Kenneth Walker's. I'm going to take Kenneth Walker. I don't have much of him in Draftkings, so I'm going to try to change it up and go with him. So a bunch of week 8 buys I'm looking at right now, but obviously the one thing that comes with Kenneth Walker is the injury concern, right? Can he stay healthy? If he can stay healthy, he is awesome, right? And especially in that offense right now, Seattle has been, all they've been talking about is how much they're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball. Even the linemen, we're going to run the ball. And I think obviously Kenneth Walker is a big part of that. But like I said before, the injury history is real, and it's something you have to kind of take into account. Is he going to play all 17 games? Obviously, I don't know. If I had to make a bet, I probably would say no. But what I think is interesting is you can get Zach Charbonnet around in the 100 ADP, so about the 8th or 9th round, and I think he's awesome. If you pick Kenneth Walker, try your best to get Zach Charbonnet. And that's because if Kenneth Walker is down, Zach Charbonnet smashes. Okay. And so if you have that insurance that you are guaranteed to get, a Seattle running back that's going to be a running back one, and is going to eat in a run first offense. So that's going to be my plan, is to get Charbonnet later on in the draft. But as a potential, in it, I guess you can call it handcuff when you in the redraft league, but just as insurance that if Kenneth Walker was to go down, I have Zach Charbonnet ready to go as my RB2, and he's gonna put up pretty good numbers, and I'll kind of go through that as we when we bring him up. We'll kind of look at his numbers. I think when Kenneth Walker missed games, and they're pretty good. So nothing beats having him on your team as an insurance policy. So a couple of guys down here. I do love Ridley. Oh man, I feel like he's gonna get targeted quite a bit with Cam Ward, who looks pretty good. And as long as when a rookie quarterback has that guy, that's who he trusts. That wide receiver is usually in a good position. So kind of saw it last year with Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton. Bo Nix was a rookie and locked on to Cortland Sutton, and Sutton had a great year in that pocket of the draft in the 4th, 5th round, right? So, I feel like Ridley's going to be taken. I'm not going to get a chance at him, but I fully endorse Calvin Ridley. Let me see if there's any crazy. Yeah, see, like this is what I was talking. Number one, thing to expect when you're doing a dollar draft is Barkley, Taylor, Kyron Williams, and Joe Burrow, right? Like, I love how Joe Burrow just fits in there as your quarterback when you have 3 running backs. So that's probably going to piss this guy off, Brew Crew. He probably thought he had Joe Burrow lined up. Not so fast, my friend, right? This man here has 3 running backs, and he decides that I need a naked Joe Burrow to start off with to kind of create my team, and then take a Terry McLaurin who may or may not be starting the season, given his contract situation and his willingness not to practice right now. But oh man, thank you. But now I'm gonna look a little bit of a dilemma, and I think I'm gonna, let's see, I'll take Ridley, and I'm gonna try to see if I can get Waddle to kind of create that Miami stack with H-N. Come on, Dan. You seem like a rational human being. Sort of. Not bad. Travis Hunter. Zay Flowers goes. I don't think I'm going to get Waddle. Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, that was a bit of a chance I took. Maybe I should have taken Waddle before. Yeah, you know what? That's my fault. I should have taken Waddle. If I wanted to make that stack, I got to go for my guy. And I can't hope on him to come around, because it seems like the guys behind me are pretty on point. So yeah, mistake right there for me. So maybe next time, like, those are the kind of things that you learn going forward. Like, you learn just take your guys. I should know that, considering how many times I've done best balls. So it's not a great mistake to make on my part, but could take Ricky Pearsall here. I really think he is going to step up. Juwan Jennings, obviously really good pick, but I think Pearsall and him will do well with Purdy. And if for any reason Juwan Jennings' calf injury is real, yeah, you got Pearsall in the slot. Who's going to eat? He's going to eat, right? You got Kittle and McCaffrey, and then you got Pearsall. So not bad. We've in the San Francisco offense being one of the top 3 options, right? Like, they've shown that they can support like 4 or 5 offensive players in their scheme. So yeah, I'll go with Pearsall. But just circling back to Mr. Ariquita, I don't know. This guy quit anyways. But anyways, that guy, Barkley, Taylor, Kyron Williams, Joe Burrow, and Terry McLaurin. So interesting, build here. And this guy is going 6 wide receivers right to start off with AJ Brown, Ladd McConkey, Cortland Sutton, Devonta Smith, and Deebo Samuel. Look at that. 6 wide receivers. This man don't give any Fs. And then you got the guy who's going to take 2 quarterbacks. So the Brian Thomas drafter decided to take Lamar Jackson and then take Jalen Hurts with a Matthew Golden. So he's doing the 2-2-2-2-2. Hopefully he takes 2 tight ends, and that's an awesome 2-2-2-2-2 build. Please take a tight end just so I can say it's a potential 2-2-2-2. Yeah, 2-for-1 build. Pretty simple here. I feel like this guy is probably so pissed by the Burrows thing, but whatever. It is what it is. That's like I said, you got to expect it, right? You got to pivot. Oh, and he takes Warren. So this guy is doing for the 2-2-2-2-2 build. Nice. Love that. Love that. And this guy goes back to back. Laporta and Kelsey. This man does not believe in wide receivers. 0 wide receiver strategy. Look at that. Love that. Or hero wide receiver strategy, I guess, when he has McLaurin, right? Look at that guy. He doesn't give a shit either. Who are we going after? Who are we going after here? So potentially I could go for Juwan Jennings and just hope that calf injury is not real and is just a contract related issue that he's having. So this time I won't I won't risk the biscuit. I will take Juwan Jennings. So I'm going to take Juwan Jennings, and then I got sniped Kyler, which is fine, I guess. This guy wants to create a James Conner, Kyler Murray stack. So looks like early enough I'm going to be going after Brock Purdy. If he's not taken, you never know, right? We got quarterbacks being taken in the 81, Baker Mayfield 65th. Yeah, that guy's taking Baker Mayfield with no Mike Evans or Ibuka. God, this is wild. You know, this just makes you feel alive. Oh man, this is crazy. Brian Robinson gone. Aaron Jones gone. And this man we're waiting on right now, who has 3 running backs, and he takes Jordan Addison. In that case, let's take Chris Olave here. Quite a bit of drop on ADP, so you look at that, right? You get him normally going in the 75th, and you got him in the 87th. I know he had like a slight injury because he didn't play in the pregame, but I don't think it's crazy. Yeah, so it's just that he didn't play in the preseason game. I don't think they would have risked him anyways. No point for that guy to get a Billy Bob Varsity Blues type of concussion in a preseason game. And so I think we're okay on that, and not bad as my 6th wide receiver, right? So I'm going wide receiver heavy pretty hard on this one. And like I said, you just want to get guys that get volume, right, with PPR. So Amon-Ra kind of fits that bill. Marvin Harrison hopefully fits that bill this year. Obviously, he's got Trey McBride to compete with targets, but that's it. There's only 2 people in that offense that are going to catch anything. And you got Kenneth Walker. Like I said, if he's healthy, he is awesome. Then I got Calvin Ridley. Obviously, a lot of volume, what we expect from Cam Ward this year as a first-year quarterback. And he's got his wide receiver number 1. Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings. So I'm kind of hedging on these two, one of these two being the target of a game from the wide receiver perspective until IU comes back. And there's no guarantee. Like so far it's week 6, but you never know, right? And then it's slow off the gates. But even IU got, I don't know, right? I think with competition between Pearsall and Jennings, I don't think he's really going to be that, in a sense, like very that ball dominant, because you still have CMC, you still have Kittle. And I think it's gonna be still spread around, so I don't think Ayuk's gonna go crazy. But the thing is, where he's going right now, it's still good if he can come back, right? That's the whole thing. So let's go on. Let's see what's going on with this crazy draft. Where's our crazy Aquita? He took Laporta. No, sorry. Did he? No, yeah. No. What am I doing? Oh yeah, Aquita, Laporta, Kelsey, Warren. This man refuses to get a wide receiver. This man is sick. He is a very, he's a wild individual, right? One hero wide receiver, this guy, Terry McLaurin. And our 2-2-2 guy messed it up, took Joe Mixon. Now he takes Tanks Bigsby in the 99th pick. Crazy stuff, guys. This is what I'm telling you. This is what's happening here. You just don't know what's going to happen, okay? Aquita, don't take a wide receiver, man. Don't take him. Don't take it. It's like Kramer, right? When he goes for that test drive in that dealership and just tells the guy to keep on driving without filling up the gas. Oh, come on, man. Why'd you take a wide receiver, brother? Yeah, Seinfeld episode where Kramer goes for a test drive and just wants to keep on going without refilling the gas. I love Seinfeld, so if you have any Seinfeld comments, please feel free to add them to the chat. Okay. I see you. We're looking okay here. So, barring any unforeseen brain fart from any of these other idiot drafters, we're gonna line up Purdy to kind of complete that stack of Pearsall and Jennings, and get a quarterback because I don't have one. I'm thinking I'm good for wide receivers. I might grab one later on as a 7th wide receiver, but I like my 6. I can roll with these guys as the season goes on. Ideally, sometimes this is 20 rounds, obviously, so you kind of want to look at typically a 3-6-8-3 build, 3 quarterbacks, 6 running backs, 8 wide receivers, and 3 tight ends. But like I said, if you are loaded on one, don't feel like you have to go with 8, right? Like that's pretty much common sense. Like, don't feel like you have to go with the that build. Like I said, I think I'm okay with going with 7 wide receivers. It is what it is. Grabbing an 8th wide receiver later in the rounds, depending on the player, is not gonna, if that's like a real good value, it's not gonna do anything for me, right? Like maybe one game if they're really show up. But that's all you're really getting from those late rounds. So it's better to maybe take an extra, like I always talk about, take a starter, right? Take a quarterback for any reason that's available. Take a tight end that's going to be starting, and don't just feel like you have to do that 3-6-8-3 build. So unfortunately, I'm at a bit of a dilemma now, depending on what happens in the next pick. Yeah, so do I take Ingram or do I take Charbonnet, right? This is my dilemma because I don't have a tight end. Ingram's available, but do I take Charbonnet just to save that running back depth? Like I was talking about, that emergency. You know, let's just stick to the strategy I was talking about before. Fuck it. Taking Charbonnet, like I said, just as insurance for Kenneth Walker. So my whole hope is Kenneth Walker's healthy. He's good to go. He's going to be putting on major points. But for any reason, if he doesn't, and unfortunately he is injury prone, he's misses any games, we got Zach Charbonnet that's able to step in and be an RB2, right? And he, like I said before, he's put some good numbers, right? Let's just look at quickly here with the games where he had multiple carries, like big carries right here. So like, yeah, this week 2 game, 17.9 points, 14 carries. Look at those receptions too, right? 3rd week, 18 for 91, and then still a couple of receptions, 2 touchdowns, 25.7. 22 carries, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns, 7 receptions, 59 yards for 41.3 points. That's what this man is capable of, and he's shown it. So like, I think those are the running backs that you kind of want to know, that you want to kind of get the backups for, because you know they can do it. They've done it in the past. The rookies are great. Like, I'm not saying you should shy away from rookies, but they're still unknowns, right? You don't know if they're going to fit in or do that or take over. So Charbonnet showed that he can carry the load, and so that's why I took the chance there and took him. Let's look back at one of our favorite drafters here, Aquita, who had 4 running backs, with a naked Joe Burrow, and he's going for the 2-4-2-2. Jalen Warren, Jaden Reed, and Jared Goff, right? Because you need a Jared Goff in this build, obviously, to time with Laporta, right? So what a guy. You need 2 quarterbacks, and you need 2 tight ends right away, and you need 4 running backs. What a build. Then we have Botch Meg, who is still refusing. He's going for 2. They're trying to set Botch Meg and Arquita. There's quite the battle here, right? To see who's going to blink first on who's going to take a 3rd wide receiver. No one wants to take the wide receiver on both ends here. So 2-5-2-2 build. Crazy build here. And Arquita blinks and takes a 3rd wide receiver. What a win, man. That guy. He sold out. I think I'm the guy that's not going to pick a tight end, right? I guess. Oh, no one really. Oh. No one does it for me here. Could I potentially look at Cam Ward is one of the tight end quarterbacks that are still available. Let's go with two. Yeah, let's do the Justin Herbert here, and I'm gonna pray that I can grab Keenan Allen to make that stack work. Caleb goes. Mooney goes. Ooh, let him go. Let him go. Don't you do it. Don't you do it, Dan Nelson. Ooh. Thank you. So let's take that Keenan Allen stack. Now I am loaded on wide receivers. I ain't taking no wide receivers. Please help me. I ain't taking no more wide receivers, okay? Okay, I have a problem. And you got to stop me from taking another wide receiver. I can't take one. And now, oh, Cam Ward gets taken. So, I think he goes a little bit. He went a little bit earlier than normal. So, yeah, like I said, that this is the type of draft we're dealing with. This is this is what we're dealing with. Now, ideally, maybe I should have gone with Cam Ward here, and then gone with a tight end. But I'd be looking at either Goddard, Jake Ferguson, Zach Ertz. So, I think a lot of these guys kind of fall into the same type of like tight end. So I am running with a little bit of fire. So like I said, like I'm having to go with this draft. I went a different route. I'm not saying my draft strategy is any better than Arquitta's or Botch's own team, but it just kind of goes to show like what can I do with 3 tight ends now later in the draft. Like if I have to go and get a tight end in the next few rounds, what's available to me? Who falls? Who doesn't? Right? Like obviously every draft is different. There's no guarantee that just because Jake Ferguson falls this draft, the next draft he's not. He'll fall again. It's not going to happen that way. But it's interesting, right? Like I kind of get an idea of how I can pull off a draft where I take my quarterback, running back, wide receivers, and wait on tight end, right? Is that ideal? No. I ideally would have liked an elite tight end. I missed out on the opportunity with Kittle. I could have taken maybe Kittle where Marvin Harrison Jr. was. So looking back at it, I could have taken Hawkinson. I could have taken Njoku. So there are a couple of times where I've skipped on the tight end to take another wide receiver. So maybe not great strategy like Chris Olave over Njoku. I don't know. That is close to call. Why would I take Olave over Njoku, right? If it's Mr. Joe Flacco that's going to be throwing the ball, he loves Njoku, right? That's his favorite son. So, yeah, maybe looking back at it, like, was Chris Olave worth it, or was maybe David Njoku? Like, the only thing I think I have to understand is I think David Njoku went pretty early. I think his ADP is normally like 100 something. Let me see here. I guess I can pull it up. I don't know if they have it. Yeah, like 106. That's his ADP. So, yeah, he went 18 spots, before his ADP. So, yeah, those are the kind of things, like, there's no guarantee. Like, I maybe assume that I can get him back here, like a 1-1. But then I took Purdy and Charbonnet, so I probably wouldn't be able to take him there. So, yeah, like I know Purdy, I mean, Kincaid's early. Pitts is pretty early. So yeah, those are the kind of things that you have to adjust for. Like I said, these drafts are crazy, right? Like I said, there's no rhyme or reason with some of these drafters, so you just have to kind of go with it. Like look at Botch Mag. He took Demario Dux, took another tight end, right? So he needs 3 tight ends, 2 quarterbacks, 3 widers, only 3 wide receivers. That man, he's gonna write a book one day. Arquitta, 4 running backs, 5 wide receivers. So he's kind of getting back to normal. He's taking all wide receivers. But like you see, if you take wide receivers later on in the draft, Christian Kirk, Adam Thielen, Josh Palmer, like seriously, that's who you're gonna like rely on? You're pretty much just give me your money, give me your dollar, right? Give me your dollar, buddy. Thanks for paying the rake. But lucky for me, it worked out. Let's take Jake Ferguson. Thank you. Saved me from my own stupidity. I love it. So we have a 2-3-7-1 build. Sorry, I'm just kind of coming back onto the clock here, so I just want to make sure I take my pick before I can start talking again. And I like Mr. Abashul Tutin. If Dan Mel's is always in the same situation. I'm always trying to like waiting on him to snipe me, but he doesn't. Thank you. I'll take Tutin as my 4th running back. So right now I have a build of 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 7 wide receivers, and 1 tight end. I think I'm normal in this draft, but I don't even know what normal is anymore. When you draft like $1 best ball tournament, like I said. Brock Purdy is my quarterback. My running backs are Devon Achane, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, the kind of insurance policy, Zach Charbonnet, the whole life policy, and then Bashal Tutin. And then my wide receivers are Amon-Ra St. Brown, Marvin Harrison Jr., Calvin Ridley, Ricky Pearsall, Juwan Jennings, Chris Olave, and Keenan Allen. And my quarterbacks are Brock Purdy and Justin Herbert. And my tight end is Jake Ferguson. So a little bit of concern here. I took Bashal Tutin, didn't think about the week 8 buys here. So I got 3 running backs out of my 4 that have a week 8 buy. So I probably need to kind of like balance that out, which I can probably do knowing some of the running backs that go later in the draft. And their bye weeks are not week number 8. So we should be okay. So big fall on Tajay Spears and Rashad White, right? So this injury concerns scares a lot of this Q, man. This little Q is a little warning sign, right? It just scares people off, right? We don't want to, if you see a Q, hey man, can't draft a Q guy. Can't draft them. So obviously Tajay Spears had a high ankle sprain, and I've heard and read so many things about this. Could be that he's back beginning of the season, totally fine. It could be something that he aggravates again over the season. So it could be a situation where you just don't know, right? There's obviously a lot of risk. But that's the good thing about when he falls like this. Like seriously, if he's falling and he's fine in the 15th round, like someone take him, but please don't be like one of these idiots. Oh my Lola, okay. Not Antiquita. Arquita is kind of back. And 80 Mitchell is your 4th wide receiver. Like, see, Botch, Meg, that man is a wild cat. Like, come on, 4 tight ends. He's taking all the good tight ends. I don't have any. He's taking the good tight ends, and he only has 4 wide receivers. God, watch him win it too. Watch him win this pod and just move on and leave us all behind and laugh in our faces when his 4 tight ends are scoring so many points, and all he needs is 80 Mitchell, 30 burgers in the last few weeks of this pod. And I'm just sitting here just shaking my head when he beats me. So let's take Chig Okonkwo. I know I don't have Cam Ward, but at least I got Calvin Ridley. So I got a couple of pass catchers that I think Tennessee will rely on this year. Chig looked good and played quite a few snaps. I don't think he was targeted maybe on preseason of the week 1, but played some good snaps. Okay. And he had a good close of last season. So I think maybe you can kind of build from that. And like, rookie quarterbacks love their tight ends, right? If that's one thing, add that to the list of cliches. Rookie quarterbacks love their tight ends. So it's not really cliche. I think it's kind of the truth. They do like them as a safety blanket. So maybe if Calvin Ridley's triple covered, he'll go to Chig. What happened to Krosky Merritt? Minor shoulder injury. Okay. Well, Mr. Krosky Merritt, you did scare me there, but I'm still going to take you. So we'll take a Krosky Merritt to add to this running back room, and another week 12 bye. So I'm just killing it with the bye allocations that I'm kind of doing here. Our running back room now consists of Devon Achane, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, Bashal Tutin, and Krosky Merritt. So a lot of, for me, my running back room is very contingent on something of these players pushing up the depth charts, possibly an injury, which we don't hold forever, possibly an injury to the starters or one of the three-man backfields in case of Jacksonville, and in the case of Krosky Merritt is like if Brian Robinson Jr. or Austin Eckler aren't effective. Austin Eckler plays a different role, I think, from what Krosky Merritt would used to be. I think the early down kind of running back. So if Brian Robinson is ineffective or injured, and then maybe JCM will get his opportunity. Let's see what our favorite two drafters are doing. Aquita is back. He is a 3-4-7-2 build, which is kind of back to normal. Dante Thornton. So this man did not stack anybody. That's not something they believe. Oh, he did stack Laporta with Goff. So he kind of saved face. Botch Meg here, took the AD Mitchell pick, and then now he takes Leonte Wester. So this man is clearly trying to get this draft thrown out, or is just an idiot, and he honestly thinks that Leonte Wester will just do so much in the return game that he can fulfill his wide receiver 5 role. So you're gonna get drafters like that. Like I said, you got to pivot, and you got to learn from it, and you got to move on. I'm not perfect. I'm making probably dumb mistakes. I haven't taken a tight end until later. Ended up with Jake Ferguson and Chigakonko, who both have the week 10 bye. So something that obviously I am not really, I think I'm having too much fun in this draft room and not even thinking about buys. I don't even think they exist. I'm thinking of a buy like it's a fantasy term that is not real, but it is very real and something I need to be aware of, right? And any of the drafters you got to be aware of. I know buys don't matter. People say that buys don't matter, but in the end of the day, you still don't want to lose on points in a week, right? Like, points are precious, and it can be that difference when you don't make it in the top 2 or the top place in the in the first round of the pods, right? So be wary of that. Oh man, Russell Wilson got sniped for me. Don't think I'd ever thought I'd be saying that. I think I could roll Brock Purdy and Justin Herbert. I don't think I need a third quarterback. Okay, here. Let's see. What do we have for tight ends? Yeah, Theo Johnson had a pretty good game, but Neighbors and Slayton weren't playing, so I don't know how much translated into the regular season, but it is what it is. You can't walk away from that. So I'm going to take Justice Hill. He has a real role on the Ravens as a pass catching running back when they are down for any reason, or if they're on the red zone. Lamar does feed Justice Smith through the air. So in a PPR format, I think Justice Hill is one of those picks that you could probably take in the last to kind of fill up your running back room, just because the possibility of receptions is truly there. I like Sean Tucker, but I think I need a tight end. Is Cade Otton back? What's going on with him? Okay, so let's take Cade Otton. At least I get away from that week 10 bye. Cade Otton's not a bad pick, especially if Godwin's out for a bit. If he's not playing, Otton showed that he's able to kind of like put up some monster games when Evans or Godwin are not playing. Obviously, Igbuka is there. He probably won't have that same luxury as he did last year with those two missing time, but still a good passing offense, right? You can't, having it being a tight end, especially an option in the red zone for Baker in a pass heavy and a high scoring offense. Sign me up. Like I said, I'm only going to probably going with 2 quarterbacks just because like I could take Jackson Dart. But is it worth it if I don't get one game out of him? Like, and there's no guarantee that he's gonna put up a monster game. So like, what's the point? I think I can roll with Purdy and Herbert, and so that I probably have an extra spot. So if I'm not going with 3 quarterbacks, I have an extra spot which I can use it towards a running back, wide receiver, tight end. So maybe in my case, I might go for a tight end, but because I think my wide receivers are pretty strong, I think I'm gonna roll 7 as well. So yeah, maybe I go with 8 running backs, give my running back room, and 4 tight ends, right? And I can't do that because that equals up to 21. So thank you. Unless there was a 21st round, I cannot do what I just said. So maybe I go for a 2-7-7-4 build. Take another shot on a tight end. I can probably grab like a Theo Johnson, a Juwan Johnson. Juwan Johnson's starting, right? So those are the kind of things that you want to kind of pick up later in the draft, right? A guaranteed starter. He's going to be on the field. That workhorse, whatever that guy, Taysom Hill, I don't know what you call him, right? The jack of all trades, master of none. I don't know. That guy, man, he's killed me so many times in DFS by siphoning off carries from Kamara or even a passing touchdown to Olave oh man, that guy, he just needs to retire, right? That's it. But a player like Juwan Johnson, who's going to be starting and going to have a major role, the rookie quarterback again, with Spencer Rattled. Spencer Rattled probably won't last long. But Tyler Shuck, rookies love their tight ends. So if Juwan Johnson falls, I will probably grab him in that pick. For running back, I like Sean Tucker. There's quite a few here. Blake Corum's available, but I don't want a week 8. Which is not the right way to think. But in my case, I have to think like that. I had one too many 8s. Just gonna check the drafters behind me. So they only have 2 tight ends and 1 tight end, so they're probably gonna take a tight end. I do have to be kind of careful on that one. Yeah, so probably go with tight end just because I know the players behind me are going to take one. Chances are they are going to take one. So in that case, let's take Juwan Johnson. Could have gone with Theo, but I went with Juwan. Just because I think he will be heavily used and in that Kellen Moore offense. So aren't I see? Yeah, Theo, Noah Gray, Komet. Yeah, so I had no chance. I would have ended up with I guess maybe Komet. Let's take Sean Tucker. Sean Tucker must not die. Sean Tucker must live. What was that? John Tucker must die, right? So Sean Tucker must live and play some meaningful football this year. He is my 7th running back. I am done. I got to get out of this room. The room is getting smaller. We have, oh man, Botch Mag with his 3-5-7-4 build. We have a 4-6-5-4 build. CM Ruffino with the late surge of, hey man, I want to set history with a 4-6-5-4 build. I don't even think I've ever said that in best ball. Here, man, here's my 4-6-5-4 build. Oh, wow. Oh my God. Rich Game really hits the wide receivers. I don't give a damn. I'm going with a 2-5-10-3 build. 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 10 wide receivers, and 3 tight ends. Oh my God, that guy is sick. But Ruffino, CM Ruffino, I think I'm just going to wait, let him take his last pick, and let's just go through his team. That is crazy. 4-6-5-4. Like I said, it's never been done. Never since Fantasy Football Dad in all his years. His 100 years of fantasy football drafting has never seen a 4-6-5-4 build. But I'm interested to see what his team looks like. Is he done yet? No, or Quita. Quita is still standing. He was on the lead, I think, initially for the crazy decisions with the 3 running backs, 1 naked Joe Burrow. But then Botch Meg came in there and said, hey, hold my drink while I just take all 2 quarterbacks back to back, pretty much back to back, and only have 2 wide receivers into my first 12 rounds. But then CM Ruffino said, hold my drink and my purse while I take a 4-6-6-4 build. Wow. These three people back to back to back. Like, come on. You know, this kind of storyline doesn't write itself, people. You needed to have 3 people join this draft and have crazy takes. So let's take CM Ruffino's 4-6-6-4 build. Bijan Hampton. Yeah, okay. Tyreek, Jameson Williams. Seems pretty normal to me. Kamara. Not bad in a PPR format. Kamara's awesome. Then you take Mahomes. Naked Mahomes. Okay, I guess. Then you take Odunze. Yeah, not bad, right? So now he's got a 1-3-3 build. Seems pretty normal. Then let's take Dak Prescott, who's naked again. And then Mark Andrews as your tight end, 1. Okay, I guess. Then Ramondre Stevenson, so you needed another running back. Okay. 3 wide receivers up to that point. Ooh. Then he takes Kyle Pitts as his second tight end. Then Dylan Sampson. So, yeah, I think at this point, that's when the drink started to hit. Dylan Sampson as your 5th wide receiver. Your 5th running back at that point. Don't need. But I think at that point it's too late. Who are you going to get? You're going to get Trey Harris, DeMario Douglas. What he actually gone? Kyle Williams. I probably would have taken Kyle Williams at this point. Dude is drowning. Bryce Young, a 3rd quarterback, and another naked quarterback. This man just loves the naked quarterbacks. Takes Bryce Young, then Hollywood Brown, Xavier Legette with the stack, then Mike Gesicki for the 3rd tight end. Then we got Shedeur Sanders. I don't need 3 quarterbacks. I need 4 quarterbacks. Give me a Shedeur Sanders in there. And I'm going to take Miles Sanders now. And then I'm going to take Tyler Higbee. And then I'm going to take Dyke. Wow. This man, CM Ruffino, Puffino, this man just crazy. 4-6-6-4 build, like I just said. Wow. Because with a Mahomes, a Dak Prescott, and a Bryce Young, you really need a Shedeur Sanders as your fourth quarterback. Okay, let's move on to Botch Mag 3674. Brian Thomas Jr. is number 3 overall. I haven't seen that, I don't think yet. Then Josh Jacobs, normal. Lamar Jackson, yeah, good. Henderson, I think a little bit early, but maybe not. Henderson, and then takes Jalen Hurts. So, my man, Jalen Hurts at that point when you could have had Agbuka's kind of early. Yeah, but any of these guys like Buka, Rice, Ridley, Hunter, Flowers. Like, why not take Flowers if you can whatever. No reason. Takes Golden as his second wide receiver. And I think then he went on a wide receiver boycott, I think, for a bit, right? Tyler Warren, Joe Mixon, Tank Bigsby in 99th. Dalton Kincaid for no reason. And 118. Ray Davis. And then Demario Douglas as his third wide receiver. Hunter Henry and Mason Taylor. So the need for 4 tight ends between the 7th and 14th round. Crazy. This man loves his tight ends. 80 Mitchell as your 4th wide receiver. Then Wester as your 5th. Pierce as your 6th. Devontae Walker with that stack with Lamar, 7th wide receiver. And then for good luck, take a Jackson Dart and a LaQuint Allen Jr. Wow. And Arquita, 359 build. Barkley, Taylor, Kyron, the 3 running backs. Joe Burrow, Terry McLaurin, Laporta, Kelsey, Jalen Warren, Reed, Goff, Kirk, Thielen, Palmer, Robinson, Rodgers, Dante Thornton, Naylor. So not bad. He made up for his wide receivers, not taking any wide receivers initially. Not bad. Kirk, I like Kirk. I like Kirk this year. I think he's going to do well in the slot, just like Diggs was doing well in the slot with Stroud until he got hurt last year. Josh Palmer, Josh Allen, It's not a pass first offense, so I don't know how many chances he's going to get every game. But Wandell, Dante Thornton, I like. Jalen Naylor, yeah, he's going to cover for Naylor. Wow. What is his name? Jordan Addison. Sorry. Jordan Addison for that first 3 games. But then, yeah, Pat Freiermuth, Keaton Mitchell, and Isaac Tesla. This man, who Rich Game right after me, took 10 wide receivers: Puka Nacua, Mike Evans, Zay Flowers, Waddle, Pittman, Coleman, Mooney, Dobbs, Hopkins, Yoshivas. Wow. 10 wide receivers. And then he only with 5 running backs. Who are his running backs? Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones Jr., Brian Robinson Jr., Najee Harris, and Kareem Hunt. Wow. So quite the interesting build. So this man decided to take, I thought I was bad with buys. This guy has 2 quarterbacks, and he took Caleb Williams and Jordan Love, both in the week 5 buys. So I guess week 5 doesn't matter to this guy. He doesn't care. Fuck your week 5, man. So there you go. I will be back soon to do another draft. Pretty soon here, I will come back on and do another one. But I just want to do my warm-up. This is my warm-up. Okay. Now I'm going to go drink some Metamucil, do some stretching to complement my warm-up draft, and I'll be back with a proper draft. Well, I don't even know what's proper anymore. Sometimes Draftkings, any room is wild, right? You don't know what to expect. But yes, I will see you guys back in just a little bit. Please like and subscribe if you do like anything that was done. I enjoy this best ball. I just want to share this with everybody. If I can help you in any way, I love feedback. Please let me know if what I'm doing is right or wrong. Let me know what I can work on. And if you just like the content, all right. And if you don't want me to talk anymore, I can do that too. I can just mute myself and just draft and just show that if no one likes that. But I probably won't. But I'm kind of getting the hang of talking and drafting at the same time. It was kind of hard at first, so getting around to that point. So thank you, everybody. I will be back soon, maybe today, to do another Draftkings draft. But just wanted to kind of get that on the channel. Yeah, enjoy. Take care.